The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 6th day of July, 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sancha Durham, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sister Sancha, you know, our roles have been reversed, and I feel like we're both burnt out in the places we've been, right? It's been a crazy, tiring week. What's up?
Listen, I traveling as it happens, especially since COVID, where we've all been like locked in these little bubbles. So in me traveling, I've gotten sick, and I'm just trying to keep it together. Like, I'm here, I'm in Philly, and daily I have to do the same thing as if school was in. So I have to go to the grocery store, make lunches, get Maddox up, make sure he's to camp on time, and it's but from a foreign space, so it puts a little more pressure on me, and my body is just like, girl, if you don't lay down.
But you know what, honestly, I'm just going to go back to what, and I do share a lot with Sancha when people send stuff, because I just think she needs to feel good, even though she may not say it. But when people write us, say, man, Sasha, whatever you call her, it's like Mama of the Year, like she's da 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 da. And you know what I'm saying? I just say this much: children grow up, and when they grow up, they appreciate, the good ones appreciate all that their parents do for them, how they put aside all of their interests and so on to make sure that they have the best opportunities to succeed. So I think you're an example for so many guardians.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. You are very welcome. And, congrats. I don't know if he said it already, but Maddox, her son, got, talk to him about his award on the first day.
Yeah, so first day we showed up, and so when we got there, they pulled Maddox aside as the example and told everybody, we need you to look like this every single day. So I was like, okay, my boy. And then first day, he got player of the day.
There you go, player.
I was very proud of him. He's very focused.
Yeah, the only problem I have is it's Arsenal camp, and Maddox ain't. I've tried to negotiate with him, but folks, he's not an easy person to negotiate. I mean, the boy got like 30-year-old skills, and yeah.
When you speak about menu, he gives you that stink eye.
yeah, he's not too kind. But honestly, I'm so happy that he has the opportunity to be in that space, and hopefully it helps with his growth and development, not just in football, but as a young person. Because one of the things that Sanchez shared on social media was some of his new friends he've met, and they were from so many different places. And I was just like, growing up, when I was his age, I only knew what I knew, the people who were around me. I never met someone who was actually from the continent of Africa. So when you were asking him where they were from and so on, like, he's getting a global exposure at a camp that he's in, and that's amazing.
It was fun. Like, when I asked him the question, I was like, what was the best part of your day? And for him to take that away, to be like, Mommy, I met someone from Africa. I met, like, he just, I think he's getting it, that the world is bigger than just Bermuda, right? So that made me happy that he saw that, and he was so excited to meet new people. And just yesterday, he's like, Mommy, 2 new people came today. And, I'm loving that he's getting to know new people.
Sancho said something I'm always saying, the world is so much bigger than the space that we live in. And the earlier that young people, and again, I know some people say, well, I can't afford. Honestly, sometimes it just comes down to opportunity. You know, I didn't really get to meet others until I went to college, and I traveled a lot as a child, but to family or New York, not New York, Disney, the normal trips. But no, I'm happy. I did get to go to Cub Scouts trips, Scout trips and stuff. But I appreciate that you were in that space to put in there. So congrats to Maddox. Folks, greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. And a good one today as we welcome former Transport Minister Lawrence Scott on to discuss the flying private to Bermuda. And I just checked. Looks like he's involved in some controversy this morning on the Royal Gazette, folks. You see that? So we'll be asking him about that. Maya, check that out. The private on the front page of the Royal Gazette, if you haven't already, Maya, sorry. But I just literally checked it while the intro was playing, and looks like, how you pronounce that word? Xenophobia or something that people are saying. Yeah, I'm not. I leave those hard words to people like Sancha Maya. But anyway, we'll talk to him about that as well. So stick with us. The Daily Players are named that place. And folks, if Sancha doesn't get this, she's resigning from the show today.
What?
She's leaving the show because even if she gets it, she's probably going to say, Jamal, do not ever disrespect me like this.
Oh my
I'm
goodness,
done.
the pressure, Jamal.
Sancha, when I do it, I guarantee you're going to give me the Maddox eye and be like, don't do that.
I hope so, because I mean, you just put me in a very uncomfortable position.
Folks, stick with us until the Daily Play. You'll see why. Don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Now, let me say, Maya actually gave me props yesterday, folks, and I was happy that I knew something technologically before Maya.
What was
look, I texted everybody, said, I knew something before Maya.
What was that?
So I was in a marketing meeting yesterday, and Instagram announced that they were rolling out their Twitter competitor, the rival app, this morning, which all of you go on there, get your handles this morning. It's called Threads, right? And I went on there, got my handle, did my thing. Make sure you go follow the Daily Hour on there. Make sure you follow Media Maya. Sancha's probably not rolled up yet because,
not. But I will work on that this morning.
I just want to say Oz before Maya. You know what I'm saying? Oz before Maya. I'm just saying. No, seriously. I was, if I hadn't attended the marketing meeting yesterday, I wouldn't have done. But all of that to say, it's a new app to rival Twitter because of all the drama. So go check it out, Threads, get your handles, and see if you got a handle that could make you some money, if you get what I'm saying. I ain't trying to, but see if you get a handle that makes you money. But we have to, Kathy Rogers says, go Gunners. Well done, Maddox. Yes, well done, Maddox, I guess. Lucky he's the nephew. But we have to have an important conversation. We have to shift a bit before we bring our guest in. And we've had this conversation on this show numerous times. But like we say about road safety, we cannot have certain conversations enough. We can't have certain conversations enough. Because as long as these things are impacting our community, we have to discuss these. So what am I talking about? Well, yesterday, according to the Royal Gazette, a 30-year-old man was found guilty of child porn offenses, right? So a St. George's man accused of blackmailing a pair of teenage girls was convicted of a string of child porn offenses by a jury in the Supreme Court yesterday. Again, this report was on the Royal Gazette. Now, I don't know how to pronounce the name. Is it Kahi or Kali or something? I think it's Kahi Smith. Kahi Smith was found guilty of charges including extortion, making child pornography, accessing child pornography, and disturbing child pornography. He was remanded in custody and will be sentenced at a future date. Now, to give you some context, this goes back all the way back to 2013. Now we're talking 10 years. So that's the first thing that disgusts me is the acts. The second thing is, why did it take so long to get to court? Because imagine how many other people have been impacted since then. The question of the morning, and I think this is something we've asked before, but we asked it on our Instagram story yesterday, what more can we do to protect children from predators? And I'll be honest, I actually responded to the Daily Hour Instagram question for the first time yesterday. And my response, Sancha, is I feel like we live in a culture where we protect our family, our friends, our, the people we love, even when we know they're doing wrong. And I think this is a part of, if you want to protect children and the vulnerable, you have to call out even those you love if they're wrong, right? And we have this culture of not my child syndrome. You want an example? Think about those politically drunk people who the PLP can do no wrong. The politically drunk people who the UBP and OBA could do no wrong. That's what I'm talking about. So if the standard's set there, then if you find out your favorite Uncle Bubba or Aunt Joan, right, touched the child inappropriately. Oh, well, they didn't mean it like that. The child's just, they took it the wrong way. Because that's what's said. Question is, what more can we do to protect children from predators? I just think there are tons of things we can do. From my perspective, we need to call it out. We cannot love the predator more than we love the vulnerable. I'm sorry. Even if it's your favorite uncle, cousin, brother, sister, parent, or child.
I think there's so many ways in which we can go about this. Obviously, I have a young son, and I am going through this process as we speak. And it's funny, yesterday, the coaches said to me, I don't know if you saw my post, they were like, why do you sit here all day? You're the only parent that sits here all day in the hot sun. And as parents, sometimes I know we need a break, and I know we're like, okay, we send them off to these places like, oh, we just need a minute to ourselves. But for me personally, this minute is not coming in this part of my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen. I feel as if I have these conversations with Maddox, we've started getting into more detail. Like I felt as when he was younger, I did certain things as, when we talked about his private parts, we called them the correct names. We're not doing the oh, you're cookie, you're this, you're that. Like to this day, he will call his private part by its correct name. And I think that's important, so that when your kids are telling you something like that, you understand exactly what they're saying if someone has bothered them or touched them inappropriately. Now, as he's getting older, we're getting into a little more of the uncomfortable, I would call it, or people may deem it as uncomfortable conversations, because I think it's important that it comes from me and not from someone else, because I'm like shying away from it. Like, no, I don't want to talk about this. No, you're going to hear it from me, so that you understand what it is, and no one else is going to put this narrative in your head and make this, and then also making your kids understand that they can come and talk to you about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have a rule. Even if you think you are going to get in trouble, like that trouble is not going to be as big as you think it's going to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to mommy and daddy about it, we will work through it. As long as we know the truth, we can figure out everything else after that. And I work very hard in trying to show him that. But sorry, go ahead.
No, but and Sanchi, let me hit the. So I'm gonna take just ask this question of you, right? Because, well, I think you know how I feel. Mother of the year, always you're there. And when I was coaching, there were a few parents. Like if there were 20 parents, 2 or 3 would stay during the entire practice. Like it wasn't let me drop off and leave them to be babysat. They were there, which is what you just explained you do, right? But I think in Bermuda right now, there are so many parents who have to work a second job. Like, so my mother, for instance, and my father, like they worked around the clock. So now this is where uncles and family came in to help support and whatnot. So I think it comes down a lot to some people, trusting other people with their children. Like you either,
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, in those instances, I'm just like, well, how do they?
How do you avoid that? And I think it's the second part of it. So the second part of what I said. Like, so I am having these difficult conversations, whereas listen, this is good touch, this is bad touch. No one is allowed. And even if they say to you, you are going to get in trouble if
Mhm.
you tell your mom or you tell your dad,
Mhm.
you're not going to get in trouble. Don't let
Mhm.
anybody ever tell you that whatever they that you think they've said they're going to do to you, not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I know this, not everyone has control of certain
Mhm.
things, right? But I can say to you, and I don't even know how this is going to come across. I chose to have Maddox at a later date in life,
Mhm.
right? I didn't have him at a younger age because I knew at that younger age I was not ready. And I know kids aren't always planned.
Mhm.
So I chose that age because now I'm in a space whereas I can work when he goes to sleep at
Mhm.
not from 9, if I have to work from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. because
Mhm.
I know that he, and it's different situations for each person.
Mhm.
But that's why I specifically did not have
Got
kids
it.
until I was 35.
So you were in a better space, and
Yeah, I
yeah,
was in a better
yeah.
space, whereas I'm not leaving him with auntie, uncle, godmother.
Right.
And
Right.
even now, do you know Maddox went to his first sleepover last weekend? For
And
seven,
how did? Okay.
7 years old, first sleepover.
Mhm.
And I felt a little more comfortable, and I don't know why, because it wasn't at someone's house, it was at a hotel.
Interesting. Interesting. That is interesting. Not at someone's house, so no control. Let's go to the audience real quickly. What more can we do to protect children from predators? Samcat Place says, if I had my way to get rid of social media at the same time handle your kids. Well, you know
So
how I feel about social media.
media, oh my gosh. When I tell you I'm going through this right now, social media, and let me say, so obviously he doesn't have the Instagram, the Snapchat,
Mhm.
TikTok, the
So
things that
I don't understand TikTok. So TikTok, can they write you private messages on there?
you can't, but the things that you probably, I don't know how to use it. I don't know. But Maddox and I, so I must have stepped away for a minute. And when I came back, and I make sure that I can hear
Mhm.
everything that he's watching.
Mhm.
And what I heard I was like, well, delete it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Delete it, because what he was seeing and able to access,
Mhm.
Jamal, I was blown away.
Well, and I think we must keep in context. Like this case that we're speaking of, folks, is from the Royal Gazette yesterday. A 30-year-old man was found guilty of charges including extortion, making child pornography, accessing child pornography, and disturbing child pornography. He literally blackmailed victims. We're talking going back to 2013, and they through Facebook. And I've always said I think social media is bad for young people. I think if young people are on it, it needs to be monitored by an
Yeah.
adult or a guardian. But I want to go through just few comments. We have a lot to go through on Instagram as well. Samcat Place says, do they really need an expensive smartphone? Let them have a flip phone for calling parents or friends, or let them know where they are, and that's it. We are in a crazy age.
Can
Jackie Eves, let me just go through these, and you go. Jackie Eves says, agree, Sancha, I am that parent. Sam Cat Place also adds, even if it upsets me, is my rule for my kids. I don't care what it may be, but I think they're scared of what I may do to the other person if anything were to happen. I am that parent in that village. Samcat Place also says, difficult conversations are hard, man. Parenting is not easy. Lord. And then Monica Dunstan says, the Coalition for Protection of Children push into primary schools to teach kids about child abuse, including sexual abuse, in a
any
very
very
child appropriate way. This is new, but at least it's a start. And then Traveling Trotty says, teach personal boundaries. Educate children about personal boundaries and their right to say no to unwanted physical contact or advances. Teach them that it's okay to reject any actions that may make them uncomfortable. Go ahead, Sanch.
So two things. What was it? Oh, with the smartphones and tablets and all of that things. I mean, I there are some great things that come out of it. You know what I mean? Like there are some things that Maddox would tell me that he's seen or he's learned, but you just have to make sure that your kid has been being directed in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, I have a niece. She's about to be 16. Between that 13 to probably 15-year-old age, I was taking her fit, and I had people saying, well, that's her private space. You know, why would you be No, I have to make sure that she is safe and she is not being exposed to predators such as what's his name, Kali, whatever his name is, because that is so easy. And another thing with our young women, we have to teach them from a young age their value, their worth, because if you look at it, they were extorted through music, right? Them probably thinking that if I do whatever for this male, you know, one day I can make it famous, I can be popular, I can be all of those things. And I think that we have to put them in a position where they understand their worth to know when you're doing something inappropriate for,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
I'm
no,
trying to word it right.
no,
Like,
no. I got you. I
you
got
know,
you.
they have to understand that. And if we go back, we talked about it backstage. If we go back to who this person was, you know, I don't know if everyone knows, but in his music career, he was running around with a mask on. I am not okay with that. It's so many things behind that I'm not okay with socially.
For me, I always thought the person was just shy. Now I feel like they were hiding in plain sight. Let's go through the Instagram. What more can we do to protect our children from predators? Someone said, stop protecting family and friends who are guilty of predatory behavior. Someone said, check their phones often to make sure they are protected. Another person says, beef up the law to execute child predators. Ooh, well, another person said, legislate a sex offender list and make it accessible to the public. I'll check with Maya, but I thought we had one. We don't have a child of a list now. I thought we had one, but I'll check with Maya.
They do make it public when
Right,
someone.
that's what I thought. But is it an actual list? No.
Yeah.
Okay. Another person said, what more can we do to protect our children from predators? They said, educate our kids about unacceptable behaviors from others. Another person says, create a safe space and encourage kids to be comfortable talking about things that affect them. Another person says, stop hiding / protecting the men that prey on children. My issue with this, as a response, change men to adults / people, but otherwise, yes. Now, I know people may say, well, it's always men.
It's
Again,
not always
it's
men.
not always men. We have to understand what's reported versus what's not, right? Let's be clear. Yeah. I think when you do stuff like that, just focus on, it sounds very hateful and direct. At the end of the day, predators could be men, women, transgender, they, them, a lot. So let's not act like this is just focused on one group. Stop that. And then someone says, don't continue to protect the predators, expose them. No more hiding, bring it to light.
But I also think that we are a culture of, we say it all the time, we get over things quickly, right?
And yeah, Maya actually shared, she did give us, SCARS actually has a sex offenders list. So you can go on their website and they have a sex offenders list. Traveling Charlie says, have a hotline for students to call. Let's bring Maya in. We are out of time, but folks, this conversation must continue. The safety of our most vulnerable is at stake. I'm still stuck on 2013. It's 2023. In 2013, I was 1 year removed from graduate school. Maddox wasn't alive. Maya hadn't even gone to college yet. Think about this. These young women have had this over their heads since that time. Let's bring Maya in for the Daily Hour news break. Stick with us. Lawrence Scott coming up after that.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, madam. How are you, Maya?
I'm disgusted and pissed off, honestly. Like, we're talking about how long it took, or everyone on Twitter. I'm just going to be really personal right now. Everyone on Twitter is talking about, I had no idea, or and the fact is, some people generally had no idea, and some people did obviously know. And I was having conversations with close friends of mine. I'm just like, how did I not friggin' know? And it's just and how did some people who are close to me knew and I didn't know still? And it's just this whole are we really not talking about it enough? Are we like, because then they assume that everyone else knew. Like it's a whole
At this
conversation going on right now.
At this point, I'm feeling like we're talking about the wrong things. Because if so and so saw something that went on down the road, they'll be quick to pick up the phone and tell you about it. But something like this that is important to protect the community, we're not repeating. Come on now.
And obviously, I'm feeling a lot for the victims, the survivors, and I'm hurting for them, but I'm happy that, you know, something came out of it finally for them.
Yeah.
But it took too long. And again, I put some thought into it, like even like the fact that we didn't have the non-consensual sharing of intimate images act way back then when it happened. And like, is that why this process was taking so long? Were they waiting for something more to come up for this law to be passed through? Like all these type of things, right? Like maybe they didn't have nothing to prosecute on before, and now they finally do. And this is why it's finally like coming to fruition. Maybe it was left on the back burner for a bit. Like there's so many questions for it, and the fact that we had to wait. They had to wait. Sorry, not us. They had to wait so long for this. Yeah. The bravery to them for stepping forward and.
Yeah, and there was a tweet yesterday where a young lady basically expressed my, I think she said my predator or something is finally going to prison, and I felt that. I felt that.
Yeah. Yeah, in the news story this morning. That was my first news break. Sorry, good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. I did find a picture of the individual. Truthfully, like you, Jamal, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing this name right because I want everyone to know, but I think it's Kalai Smith. Kalai Smith, 30-year-old, who was found guilty. I found this image on the internet this morning. This is what the man looks like. So he was found guilty of charges including extortion, making child pornography, accessing child pornography, and distributing child pornography. He was accused of blackmailing a pair of teenage girls and was convicted of a string of child porn offenses by a jury in the Supreme Court. He was remanded in custody and will be sentenced at a future date. So that is the image there that I found online of him for the audience to see.
You know what? I'm very interested, Maya, and I don't want to prolong this because I know some people just discussed it, but most right-thinking people are. But I'm very interested to see what this sentence is going to be, because if it's one thing I've learned, and I believe in second chances like most people, all of us have made mistakes, but I don't think there's been a study to prove that these people can be rehabilitated. I'm no expert. I'm just saying, because these folks tend to reoffend. I literally was just having a conversation with someone on Monday regarding someone who was released recently. It was all over the news. And they said the person's back in prison already.
Yep.
Legit.
Yep.
Folks, you don't know that this person's back in prison because they haven't told us. But they literally reoffended that quickly.
And this is why I said, a little earlier, we get over things really quickly. They give us this release. They tell us this person is coming out of jail, be careful, whatever they say. And then probably about a year later, that person is, and I'm not saying that we have to keep at it, but I don't know. We just give them way too much wiggle room.
Yeah. I agree.
And as someone tweeted as well, they said, if I am associated with your predator, please tell me. Let me know so I can disassociate myself.
Indeed. Yeah.
Moving on with more of the news for this morning. As you may have heard, a bus and a car collided on Harrington Sound Road in the vicinity of Leamington Caves around 8:15 a.m. on Wednesday, the 5th of July. Police and Bermuda Fire and Rescue Services, as well as ambulance personnel, were dispatched to the reported two-vehicle collision on the Harrington Sound Road. The car driver, believed to be a 27-year-old local male, was hurt and apparently had to be extracted from the vehicle, and he was transported to the hospital via ambulance for treatment for the extent of his injuries, which are currently unknown at this time. It is said that so far no one on the bus seems to be hurt, though, so that is good news there. And anyone who may have witnessed the collision, please call 211.
Man, that looked really bad.
I saw pictures of it. It did. It looked really
bad.
Thankfully, everyone's okay.
Yes. Yeah, the car was severely damaged in that accident. But furthermore, the Bermuda Police Service also mentioned that on that day, July 5th, there were several collisions across the island, and 4 of them resulted in injuries as well.
Take your time, folks. Take your time. Take your time. Pay attention. Take your time.
Mm-hmm. The Minister Owen Dow had some reports and some statements made about the upcoming cup match celebrations. He says that cup match is not only a time for celebration, it is also a time where we commemorate the formal end of enslavement of people of African and Native American descent in Bermuda. It's a time for education and reflection, for remembering in particular the contributions of our national heroes as well, as from Mary Prince, and then also to those who aren't always mentioned but are still legendary, like Sally Bassett, or those like Nat, Peter, Nancy, and Mingo. He went on to explain that there's going to be a lot of events coming up in this month of July, obviously to give some education about cup match, but not also that, but just the history of Bermuda too. Ones that are coming up very soon on July 9th is presented by the Titan Tours Bermuda, and it is the Mary Prince Legacy Bus Tour. So if you've ever thought about getting to go on the bus tour that's coming up soon, it's going to be the 9th, the 16th, and the 23rd of July, and you can go on titantoursbermuda.com for more information.
Yeah. If you haven't been on one of their tours, pretty cool, folks. It's a lot of information, so I encourage you to go check them out.
In other news, the Minister of Transport, the Honorable Wayne Furbert, recently visited Delta Airlines headquarters in Atlanta to discuss potential expansion of services to Bermuda and attracting more visitors from Atlanta and other onward destinations. Delta Airlines has been the longest continually running U.S. air carrier in Bermuda since its inaugural service to the islands in 1972. The minister also mentioned in his statement about how they said that we are working on a hospitality industry, and they plan, he says, with increased beds, mainly at the Southampton Princess Hotel, that says we'll have 600 beds, and they hope to have that increase in 2024 and 2025. So it's looking like that's what he assumes would be the day that Southampton Princess will be opening up for more travel.
I'm not doing it. You're trying to, it's like I'm a fish and you just threw the bait over. I'm not taking it. I'm not doing it. No. Mm-mm.
Well, next up on the news, the OBA announces that they have Gregory Ferreira as well as Tia Smith as the Constituency 11 and Constituency 1 candidates, respectively, that they've approved for the OBA. A little bit of background about, Jeffrey. I said Gregory. Jeffrey, he has built his career in Bermuda's financial services sector, and for the past 5 years has served as the head of legal and regulatory compliance for a local banking institution. During this time, he has enjoyed working and collaborating with the National Anti-Money Laundering Committee and the Financial Intelligence Agency, the Bermuda Deposit Insurance Corporation, and other public agencies to strengthen Bermuda's financial safety net and better protect consumers. As for Tia, she holds her registered professional liability underwriter and associate in underwriting designations, as well as most recently received the cyber professional liability practitioner designation. Tia also served on the board of the directors for the Bermuda Zoology Society for 10 years and the board of Bermuda Education Network for 2 years. She's quite passionate about young people, they say, and she's actually been the PTA president at Prospect Primary for 2 years and the PTA president at the East End Primary for a year as well.
I just want to say, I mean, congrats to both of them. Seem decent candidates. I think the constituency 1 is Renee Ming. Unless they're voting against PLP, I think she should have ran in 2 against Kim Swan. And I believe constituency 11 is Chris Famous. That was a UBP stronghold back in the day, OBA as well. It'll be interesting. I'll just say it'll be interesting. But I mean, unlike the last election where they were caught with their pants down, literally, couldn't field a full slate of candidates. At least they seem like they're ahead of the game. So.
Yeah, I was just saying it. I love to see fresh faces, new talent. I don't know much about either. I'm gonna go and do my research now. But yeah.
Research. Ain't nobody do research, man. Voting, they vote for whatever color they're
I
told to.
do.
I know you do. But
I do my research, and I
only
come and talk to me. Let's have a conversation.
Only, Sandra. Let's hope you can inspire.
What Ayala has to say.
Yeah.
Finishing out my news break with some sports, Caitlin Conyers and Connor White both picked up bronze medals at the CAC Games for the cycling time trials in San Salvador.
Good stuff. Love it.
And today's weather, we're looking at sunny periods with a couple of showers around. Winds are southwesterly, light to moderate, so not too strong, thankfully. And it's going to be 83 degrees Fahrenheit.
Well, I hope we've already had those couple showers. It was raining out there this morning, so let's hope that's over. Sancha, how are we looking for days of the year? Give us something good.
Today's just a good one, a feel good one.
Okay.
It's virtually hug a virtual assistant day. I'm feeling like a virtual assistant over here working from a distance. Virtual assistants keep the world running behind the scenes, so make sure you send your virtual assistant some appreciation in the form of a hug today. So those guys at Nail Bar and Scoops and all of those places, I feel like a virtual assistant, send me some flowers or something today.
I didn't get my apple turnover yesterday.
My mom sent me a whole message on what she had for you yesterday, so I think you should go.
I'm gonna go today. I didn't really leave the house yesterday. Real quickly before you go out, folks, don't forget we're making an announcement tomorrow that you don't want to miss. Both as far as cot match, something that's never been done as far as cot match. If you missed this show, make sure you're subscribed to thedailyhour.com. But you want to be a part of this, and then also the restaurant crawl. We haven't spoken about it enough. We'll be giving you some details tomorrow. And you want to be registered at thedailyhour.com to get all of the follow-up information. Let's just say.
Can I say this, Jamal? I want to go back to the cot match thing. I am looking forward to making this announcement because I will give everybody the background story of the messages you sent me about this announcement and how you try to get everybody. You have to be around for this announcement because I'm going to give you the background story. Jamal really he tried to call me out.
Yeah, I did.
I had to correct him. And
let me just say,
I was for a minute.
I don't know, because I'm like, I know Maya's been trying to put Sancho on. Sancho's like, yeah, I know Maya wants, and just like a security cat, ain't she, Maya?
Maya,
can I leave?
I'm sorry, we're making Maya uncomfortable. We're having an argument.
Tomorrow we will have this conversation in detail because we will make this announcement.
Maya's gotten uncomfortable with us arguing. All right, big brother, big sister having a fight. Little one says, well, I like you both. Anyway, Maya, have a great day. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. You don't want to miss the fight between Sancha and myself tomorrow. Also, Dr. Ewart Brown.
I am stoked about tomorrow.
Yeah,
I need to pick up my outfit now.
With us, Lauren Scott coming up after this. We've got some controversy to discuss.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Welcome back to the big show. Sancha Durham, myself, Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Please don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com, and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right. Let's just bring our guest for the day in. We've got former Minister Lawrence Scott, and let's give him a warm TDH welcome. Morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you doing?
Well, I think we're doing better than you. I mean, so Roxanne Christopher, who is the head of, I'm jumping right into it. We're going off script real quickly. So she's the head of the, or former president of the Jamaican Association in Bermuda. Basically, she felt like people from the Caribbean island of Jamaica and the Dominican Republic were being discriminated against. Just speak to us what's happening with this.
So what's happening now is that, as you know, I've started a company, Bermuda Direct, which provides direct charter service between Bermuda and the Caribbean. The reason for that is twofold. One, to serve an underserved demographic in our community that cannot go through the United States, the UK, or Canada to get to their loved ones in the Caribbean. And so we are working with the company that helped put on the Portuguese charter direct from Bermuda to Portugal. There was no talk about any visas needed for the Portugal charter, but yet when it comes to the Caribbean charter, when we reach out to immigration just to make sure and do our due diligence, that the policy had not changed. When they tell us that the immigration in writing has told us the policy has not changed. Without a change in policy, that means that the same policy that the Portuguese charter falls under is the same policy that the Caribbean charter should fall under, meaning that the Portuguese don't need visas, so therefore the Caribbeans shouldn't need visas before transiting through one of the big three, UK, Canada, and the US. But when persons call asking about the Caribbean charter if they need visas, the feedback that we are getting is that they are being given answers or responses that leave them either wanting more questions, wanting more clarity, or just not knowing what the direct answer is. That's the 30-second version.
So the short version basically is people in the Caribbean are expected to have visas. People of Portuguese descent traveling between Azores and Bermuda are fine without visas.
So what the actual thing is, that's the impression that immigration is giving.
Correct.
However, we know that the policy that's in place now, so since it hasn't changed, let me give you a few examples of what has happened under the current policy. The Portuguese flight. What has happened under the current policy is the National Air Service Development Strategy that the government is following in order to increase airlift into and out of Bermuda includes direct connectivity between Bermuda and the Caribbean. What else has happened under this policy? That the PLP government in the Bahamas did a chartered flight from Bahamas directly to Bermuda to participate in the local PLP parties delegates conference in November of last year. No visas needed. And so you start to see where we're going with this. We've had multiple Jamaican charters before, no visas needed. We've had multiple Caribbean charters before, no visas needed. So when persons call now and ask immigration, the immigration says, that is correct, you don't need a visa because you're flying direct. However, if you're transiting through these different jurisdictions, UK, Canada, and US, you will need the visa requirements for those destinations are the visa requirements for us. So there is no visa needed on a direct charter.
Got you. So real quickly, just explain the difference between flying private and taking a commercial flight. Just the difference between what people get. And I'm not talking about charters yet, just
So the best way to explain it is 3 levels. So flying up, you have someone who has a private car, someone who takes a taxi, and someone who takes a bus. Your private jet is equal to your private car, meaning you get to go when you feel like going. You don't have to worry about, you have to have all the prerequisites, your car license, insurance, and stuff like that. But you don't have to worry about timelines or boarding times or even TSA. You just have to worry about the immigration and customs in the destination that you're going to. A taxi is like a chartered operation, meaning you prearrange the dates and times that you want to go. You still don't have to go through your TSA and all of that check-in and all of that for as you would a commercial flight. And taking the bus is the equivalent of a commercial flight. where you sort of get in where you fit in. The bus is going on this time, we're going on this time, doing this through this route. And if you're not there at the time the bus arrives or the bus leaves, you get left behind. And that's the difference. So therefore, from a price point, they all cost roughly the same. But with the private jet charter, with the private jet being smaller than the commercial jet, the per person rate is much more expensive, but you're paying for convenience.
All righty.
How do we need to, I'm sorry, how do people know, sorry, Jamal. What do people know about, Jamal, could you take it on?
Yeah, what do people need to know about flying private?
One, what you need to know about flying private is just how to get in contact with somebody that does private jet charter. So my company, Bermuda Direct, we do private jet charters. There is another company that has just started up that does private jet flights between Bermuda and the Northeast on a weekly basis. And so that's the first one. The second one is you need to know that it's quite expensive. But it depends on if you can see that is it an expense or is it an investment in the time that is saved. And then thirdly, when it comes to flying private, is that to be honest, it's addictive. Once you start to fly private and you know the freedoms and the flexibility and just the convenience that you have, you tend to want to do it more often.
Got you. And yes,
so what can people entering and leaving Bermuda via private jets expect?
When they fly private?
Yeah.
So what they can expect is basically almost imagine going into like sitting in your living room while you're flying. So you go in, you're not standing in anybody's lines. You have catering that's on board that you can actually choose, pictures and refuse. And it's very relaxed. It's a relaxed atmosphere. And to be honest, we're trying to provide that same relaxed atmosphere with the chartered operation that I'm doing for the Caribbean. This is why we're looking out of the private jet facility. But it sort of moves when you want to move. If you set time for 12 o'clock, but you feel like leaving 12:30 or you're running a little late, that's not going to be a big deal. That's not going to really push anything or throw any schedules.
Yeah, gotcha.
How far in advance do you need to book?
For private jets, you can do 48 hours. But understand, the closer you book to the time that you need to go, there are some logistical costs and whatnot that would be incurred. But for private jet charters, you can be booking anywhere from a week to 2 weeks out. And when the further out you get, it's a little bit better, but roughly the safe bet is roughly about a week to 48 hours.
And I know you explained it a little bit in it previously, but how do private planes differ from charters? So if I'm going to charter you, like, how is the whole experience that much different?
So it's that much different because one, it's one-on-one. You're not going to a website and just booking, and you're not just another number or a passenger. You're actually a person. So you're speaking to somebody that has a connection with you. Here with us, you're speaking to a Bermudian. If you're going to the Dominican, our team has somebody who speaks fluent Spanish. And so therefore you've built a connection and almost a semi-personal relationship with the person that you're booking with all the way through it. They will guide you through the whole process, all the way through from the time you give them that initial call to the time that you get on the aircraft. And then there are people meeting you on the other side. So it's a more personalized experience.
Yeah.
So this may be kind of difficult, but I'm listening to all this personalized service, and anybody that knows me knows that I love a good VIP experience. But how much is this going to cost me?
So are you talking about fully private or chartered?
Give me both.
Okay,
so what ballparks are we talking about?
So On average, the cost in total for a private jet charter between Bermuda and the United States, Caribbean, UK, roughly around, United States and the Caribbean are roughly around the same, about 140,000. But if you're dividing that amongst a plane that seats 10 people versus a plane that seats 20, 50, or 100, you can sort of see. So basically, it depends on how big your party is. So if it's just you by yourself, it's going to cost you $140,000. If it is 10 people, you divide that 140 by 10. If it's 100 people, you divide that 140 by 100.
Alrighty. Let's go to the audience. Got a few questions. Folks, if you have any questions or comments, please send them through. Sean Smith's asking, does your company own its planes, or are you a brokerage company?
So no, we're not a brokerage company. We do not own our planes. We are actually basically chartering our aircraft from a company that is on the Bermuda Aircraft Registry. So these are Bermudian registered aircraft that we're using, and there are 2 in the fleet.
Alrighty. We're going to do a good deed this morning. Dream Receiver says, good morning. I'm coming to Bermuda via cruise. I would like to support locals from the diaspora. Is there a list or a website? I'm sorry, my question is off topic. So we're not going to ignore you. We're going to say, Dream Receiver, send us an email at engage@thedailyhour.com. And we have Travel and Trotty. We have Charles Jeffers. We have the former Minister of Transport here, who's going to give you some ideas real quickly before we get back to topic. But please send us an email at engage@thedailyhour.com, and we'll take care of you. What you got for her, Minister?
So you've got Titan Tours that does an amazing tour of the island, going through and actually touching and going to all following the African Diaspora Trail from Spittle Pond and the cave there to Ward Post Office, which is a former slave graveyard, to the Whitney Post up there in Bob's Valley, and even Cops Hill Methodist Church, which is a church built by slaves in the moonlight. So you have a plethora of places to go, but I think the best sort of catch-all is that Titan Tour, and I believe they do product out.
All righty. Renee Simmons, she's asking, does your company require a membership? And if so, how much? The new company that was just incorporated requires membership, so it seems more for the business/corporate client with a 30-seater.
No, we do not need membership. Our aircraft right now seats 64 people. And you can call Trip or you can call myself, 515-8633, or WhatsApp me, however it's convenient for you, to just book a ticket or even put in a request. We're getting a lot of requests for Barbados for next year's World Cup. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you like cricket, you know what I'm talking about. And we're getting a lot of requests for St. Kitts. So moving forward, you might start seeing some new interesting destinations coming your way direct out of Bermuda.
Alrighty. And we have one, Travel and Trotty is asking, do charters have frequent flyer programs?
We are in the process of actually putting that together. We just have these first 2 trips, our August trip for Cup Match, leaving August 1st, returning August 13th. And then we have a December charter, which is leaving December 19th for Christmas, and returning January 2nd. After those 2 trips, we will be introducing a frequent flyer program, as we are hoping to increase the frequency and connectivity between Bermuda and the Caribbean.
All right, thanks so much. Just real quickly before you head out, how can people get in touch to learn more?
Once again, I would say you can call me at 505-8633. You can go to Trip, or you can go to the Scotscraft website, which is scotscraftbermuda.com.
All right, thank you so much. Look, all the best with this. I think it's brilliant, and please reach out, let us know if there's more we can do. Any other things like this, like again, amazing front page story, xenophobia. I understand the confusion as well, but just keep us informed and let us know what we can do to keep things going. But thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for the opportunity, and we'll keep you informed and seats up for them.
All right, talk soon. All right, Lawrence Scott, folks, if you found that conversation helpful, you appreciated the information, please give us a thumbs up. Make sure you send that. I found that interesting, though, Sancha, like different rules for different people, right? But we're going to take our final break. We're going to come back. Don't forget that daily play. We'll see Sancha's reaction. I think she's going to try to fight me through the computer, folks. I think she's going to try to fight me through the computer.
You're really setting me up, Jamal.
Trust me. You'll see why. Stick with us.
If you haven't been to ER Fisheries in a while, it's time to hop in the car, drive east, and come check out what we have to offer. ER Fisheries and Foods is a Bermuda-based food company that sells a variety of food products to local customers. We are of course known for high-quality food items, including specialty meats and seafood, but we offer so much more. We have evolved from a small community-driven ordering window to a modern freezer front with easily accessible products. Our newly revamped store offers customers a top-tier shopping experience, and we also offer delivery. Regardless of your preferences or diet, we have something for everyone, including chicken, many varieties of seafood, pork, lamb, beef, plant-based items, fruit and veggies, bread, dairy, and grocery items. So come check us out for your specialty grocery needs. ER Fisheries is open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. at 134 Marginal Wharf, Southside St. David's.
All righty, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to former minister, Lawrence Scott. Again, if you appreciated the conversation and the discussion this morning as well, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we can do this for you on a daily basis. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. The Cup Match edition is in stores, so trust me, it's a very, very cool game. Learn about the history of not just the cricket game, but the holiday itself, Bermudian traditions. So go cop the Cup Match edition of Bermuda Trivia. Sancho, are you ready?
Jamal, go ahead. If you set me up for failure,
I will never do that to any of you. It's a name that place. Sancha, I'm going to start the music now. What U.S. city is known as the Big Apple? Couldn't hear you.
You must feel like she's having a rough day. Let's give her something easy.
Well, look at that. I'm having a rough day too. Look at that. My camera just shut off. So you didn't walk off the set. That's a great thing.
No, I think you felt for me. You're like, she's having kind of a rough day.
I think everyone got it. I Mark, Sam Cat, Traveling Charlie. Mark.
Why is that even a question, Jamal?
I thought some might have said something else. Look, we asked last week what was it? What was the Golden State? Maya got it.
Jamal, we are Bermudians. That's like the first place we travel.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Big Apple.
Yeah. If anyone would have got this wrong, I would have been concerned for the country. I would have been concerned. I really would have been concerned. Oh boy, here we go. Somebody give me the eyes like I gave you an easy one.
Sherry, you take that out with him backstage, on phone, or don't listen.
You don't want none, son. You're saying that is not your fault, Sancha?
No, I'm just saying that sometimes you gotta ease me up.
But I eased Sherry up.
She can't.
I don't think I eased you up. I thought you would have fell for the trick.
She can't call you out on, because then everybody's gonna be like, oh, he gives Sancha easy ones. No. Today's just one of those days. I needed an easy one.
I'm just happy she didn't walk off and say, don't disrespect me like that. That when she tells the story about
the story tomorrow.
Yeah. She literally
everyone, don't disrespect me.
Jamal, don't you saw the other Sancha come out on me. But I just want to make sure, my peeps were cool. But anyway, Sancha, let's wrap up today's show. Very disgusting conversation. And I say disgusting because of the topic, not because of what we actually discussed.
A conversation that has to be had.
Yeah.
So many times the difficult conversations, we hide behind them, we sweep them under the carpet and pretend that they're not happening. Mm-hmm. And we need to protect these babies. We need to protect these kids, and give them a chance. Like you say, we cannot continue to protect the predators just because we are a small community and we know it's our uncles, our aunts are, and parents, be in your kids' face. As annoying as they may feel you may be in their face and help them to understand that you are that safe space for them.
Yeah.
As I said, I try to do that all the time. Like, do not let anybody tell you you're going to be in trouble with me. Not going to happen. right?
Mhm.
And with Lauren Scott today, I am always up for, I say that we need to put ourselves in a space of luxury.
Mhm.
That's what Bermuda is missing. So when we are putting forward these business ideas and we're trying new things, I welcome the community to embrace it, and
Mhm.
let's try to help him make this successful,
Mhm.
so that we have other avenues, because traveling right now to Bermuda is not easy, on
Mhm.
top of not having a hotel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I'll say this much, again, as Sancha just said, we have to have these difficult conversations. The purpose of this show is to have conversations about issues and problems impacting our community and discuss solutions to them. We discussed what we can do to protect our children. Like, what more can we do? And I think, everyone, whether it's Instagram or live on the show, contributes. And I just hope that the powers that be, people who make decisions, think of some of the things that we're saying. We cannot live like this if we care and love our community. As far as Lawrence Scott, look, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. One day I'll be on Sancho's level. But no, seriously, I absolutely love the fact that you're doing this. I think Bermudians have been screaming for charters to the Caribbean for years. I love that people have the Azores route. I love that Bermudians are having more than just what Sanchez said just now, which is so true. The Big Apple routes, right? So I appreciate what he's doing. Hopefully, people will be able to explore different parts of the world, because the world is so much bigger. As Maddox would remind you, as we spoke earlier, one of the biggest takeaways from me when Sancha was asking her son Maddox what he enjoyed most about his first day was meeting people from different parts of the world. Majority of our young Bermudians, we just did not have that. Even with social media, we are still comfortable with our ignorance a lot, right? Even with the internet taking us so far away from where we live, we are still comfortable in our spaces. So take advantage of these if you're in a financial position to do so, and explore more than what you're just what you're used to. Sancha, do you have any daily inspiration for us?
I do. Daily Inspiration is brought to you by ER Fisheries. The true character of a society is revealed in how it treats its children. Do you know who that's by?
Michelle Obama?
Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela. Okay. All right. I like that one. A little dig from Kathy Rogers says Maya still has the quickest time so far when giving the correct. That's because Maya be like, like she, man, yeah, she
It's that
you
ram, I'm telling you. It's that
Mhm.
Aries in her.
She's just got that competitive nature, man. I don't know you all, but anyway, folks. Don't forget big announcements tomorrow. We've got Dr. the Honorable former Premier F. Brown coming on as well. So you want to set your dial, check it out. Don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sancha Durham. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe, and I repeat, safe and great day. We are is out. Peace.